Welcome to UXL, where you can learn new skills anytime and anywhere. Visit uxl.com to explore our full course selection. This lesson is part of a larger course. Check the video description below for a link to the full course where you can enroll. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. For your convenience, the course cover displayed on your screen provides the complete course title and lesson title. Let's proceed with the lesson. Lesson: The Tragedy of the Commons. The concept of the tragedy of the commons illustrates a critical problem in environmental economics: the overuse and depletion of shared resources due to individual self-interest. This phenomenon, first articulated by ecologist Garrett Hardin in 1968, provides a foundational framework for understanding how collective action problems can lead to unsustainable practices in a shared resource system. The tragedy of the commons is a powerful lens through which we can examine various environmental issues, from overfishing to deforestation, and understand the underlying economic principles that drive these problems. At its core, the tragedy of the commons occurs when individuals, acting independently and rationally according to their self-interest, deplete a shared resource, even when it is clear that it is not in anyone's long-term interest for this to happen. Hardin used the example of a common pasture shared by herders. Each herder receives the full benefit of adding additional animals to the pasture, while the cost of overgrazing is shared by all. This leads to overgrazing, resource depletion, and ultimately, the collapse of the pasture. This model can be applied to many modern environmental issues, illustrating how individual actions can collectively lead to negative outcomes. One contemporary example of the tragedy of the commons is overfishing. Fisheries are a common pool resource where individual fishermen are incentivized to catch as many fish as possible to maximize their gain. However, if every fisherman acts on this incentive without restraint, the fish population can be driven to collapse, harming all fishermen in the long run. Data from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations indicates that approximately 34% of global fish stocks are overfished, illustrating the widespread nature of this problem. This statistic underscores the necessity of understanding and addressing the tragedy of the commons to promote sustainable fishing practices. Another pertinent example is deforestation, particularly in the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon is a critical carbon sink, playing a vital role in mitigating climate change. However, it is also a resource rich in timber, land for agriculture, and other exploitable goods. Individual actors, such as logging companies or farmers, may clear parts of the forest for profit, ignoring the long-term environmental consequences. This deforestation can lead to loss of biodiversity, disruption of water cycles, and increased carbon emissions, contributing to global climate change. The rate of deforestation in the Amazon surged by 9.5% in 2019-2020, a clear manifestation of the tragedy of the commons. Addressing the tragedy of the commons requires collective action and effective governance. Economists and environmental scientists suggest various solutions to mitigate this issue, including regulation, privatization, and the establishment of communal management systems. Regulation involves government-imposed restrictions on resource use, such as fishing quotas or logging permits, to prevent overexploitation. For instance, the implementation of fishing quotas in the North Sea has helped to stabilize fish populations that were previously overfished. These regulatory measures are essential, but require robust enforcement and international cooperation to be effective. Privatization is another proposed solution, where the common resource is divided into privately owned parcels. The idea is that private owners will manage their resources sustainably since they bear the full cost of overexploitation. However, this approach can be contentious, particularly when it involves resources that are culturally or socially significant to communities. Moreover, privatization does not always guarantee sustainable management, as profit motives can still lead to exploitation. A third approach, and often the most sustainable, is the establishment of communal management systems. This involves the community collectively managing the resource according to agreed-upon rules and norms. Nobel laureate Elinor Ostrom's research has shown that communities can effectively self-regulate common resources through collective governance structures, avoiding the tragedy of the commons without requiring top-down regulations or privatization. Successful examples include the community-managed forests in Nepal and the acequia irrigation systems in New Mexico, where local users have developed sophisticated governance systems to manage water resources sustainably. The tragedy of the commons also highlights the importance of considering externalities in environmental economics. Externalities are costs or benefits incurred by third parties due to an economic transaction. In the case of the tragedy of the commons, the negative externality is the depletion of the resource, which affects all users. Effective policies to address the tragedy of the commons often involve internalizing these externalities, ensuring that those who use the resource bear the full cost of their actions. This can be achieved through mechanisms such as taxes, subsidies, or the creation of tradable permits. For example, carbon pricing mechanisms like carbon taxes or cap-and-trade systems aim to internalize the externality of carbon emissions by assigning a cost to emitting carbon dioxide. This incentivizes businesses and individuals to reduce their carbon footprint, thereby addressing the common pool problem of atmospheric pollution. The European Union's emissions trading system is a prominent example of a cap-and-trade system that has helped reduce greenhouse gas emissions from major industrial sources. In conclusion, the tragedy of the commons is a fundamental concept in environmental economics that underscores the challenges of managing shared resources sustainably. Through real-world examples such as overfishing and deforestation, we see how individual actions, driven by self-interest, can collectively lead to resource depletion and environmental degradation. Addressing this issue requires a multifaceted approach, including regulation, privatization, and communal management, along with policies that internalize externalities. By understanding and applying these principles, we can develop more effective strategies for sustainable growth and resource management, contributing to a more resilient and equitable global environment. This concludes the lesson. We trust you found this video informative and engaging. To enroll in the complete course, please use the link provided in the description below. At UExcel, we are committed to your learning journey. Each course offers a certificate of completion, online support, and downloadable resource files to enhance your experience. If you found our content valuable, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to supporting your continued pursuit of knowledge.